Good morning.
Good morning. It's very interesting. I received an email from Luren from Zoom. It said Luren is waiting for me in the Zoom room because she's waiting here from 9:30. Okay, so our class for discussion session is different from our lecture. Yeah, so but I think it's our last two times discussion session, right? Because we will have the midterm the week after next week, right?
The final is going to be in class, correct?
Yes, in the lecture, in professor lecture on Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start. Okay, so today we will recap the chapter 11, 12 we learned today because we don't have any project or assignment due this week, right? So the Samsung's assignments has been due yesterday midnight, so we don't have anything due on this weekend, right? Okay, so the chapter 11, competitive strategy. From the textbook, you can see the content can be divided into 4 parts, and under each part there will be another small topics of that, and you can see the sequence of this chapter 11 competitive strategy, right? On the very beginning, understanding the competitive landscape and then evaluating the competition. And third one, principles of the competitive strategy, and last one, competitive actions for different market. Okay. So the first one, understanding the competitive landscape. There are 3 topics. The first one is strategic group, and you need to know the concept of the strategic group. Okay, so that means assess of companies that compete in similar way with similar business models, pursuing similar sets of customers. For example, like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, they are all pursuing the same customers, and they produce very reliable vehicles, um, high MPG vehicles for the customer. So they are pursuing same group customer. They are the strategic group. Their products very similar. Okay, the barrier to mobility is any factor that limits the ability of company to move between strategic group. It's very similar to barrier of entry, but the difference between them is here is a barrier to move into that strategic group, not the industry. Okay. Okay, the third topic of this understanding of a competitive landscape is strategy canvas. Okay, you can see here is a chart for Southwest. You can evaluate the company, evaluate their strategy based on different dimension, price, meals, launch, seating choices, yeah, etc. And when you want to compare with your competitors, you can use this graph because you can see other airlines in this graph is totally different from the Southwest, and Southwest is very similar to vehicle industry, automobile industry, right? So you can see the difference, and you can use your strengths to beat the weakness of the competitors from this way. Evaluating the competition is the second topic of this chapter. So the very important concept of this topic is the competitor response profile. And you can see this graph also from textbook or professor's lecture. It replied to the two questions, answer two questions. The first two, because for the evaluating the competition, it answer the four question or it have four steps. These graphs answer the first two questions: what drives the competitors and what the competitor is doing or capable of doing something. Okay, so for the what drives the competitors, you can see under this title there is two dimension. The first one is objectives. The second one is assumption. For example, the objective is leverage the benefits of the international scale of overall cost savings, capture a greater share of market by providing home city to destination travel for international passengers. So that means Delta want to achieve objectives by saving the cost for the company, also improve the market share. Okay, but they have the assumptions. Passengers want to fly the same airlines domestically and internationally. Scale savings exists by having global footprint, which permits competitive pricing on international routes. Okay, so they have assumptions. So for answer the second question, what the competitor is doing or is capable of doing something. The first one is strategy. Okay, so because they want to achieve the objective to save the cost, to achieve the economy of scale, so they position as an international travel choice to as many customers as possible by building an extensive travel network. Okay, the resources and the capability is there are different resources, like the locations in different major cities, airline partners that provide global reach, like another airline in another country, fleet of large aircraft, reliable and service-oriented travel. Okay, so these two questions is on the left side of the the first two questions on the left side of the slide. Okay, so how will competitor responds to the specific moves? You can say here on the very center, because Delta is likely to largely ignore entry into its international city part markets by Southwest, as long as these entries remain few, because this chart is this picture is based on the delta to analyze delta, because you are the Southwest. You need to know what the competitor consider their competitor, because I'm the Southwest. So they consider the movement after themselves. Here's the Delta's movement. So because the Delta didn't worry, because they can achieve the economy of scales in the international or domestic flights, so they don't worry about the competitor stepping into these flights, because they have already achieved the scales. Okay, so if Southwest just have a few air flights to compete with Delta, the Delta will not worry about it. Make sense? Yeah, let me repeat again. So Delta is likely largely ignore entry into its international city part markets by Southwest. Yeah, we are the Southwest. So we are now analyze Delta. Okay, so Delta don't worry about the entries, because we only have few, not too many flats. So they don't worry about it. So we can step into these flats. Okay. So how will a competitor respond to specific moves? So that's to answer this question. So we can step into these flats, because Delta don't worry about us. Okay, so using game theory to evaluate specific moves. I remember a professor didn't mention too much about the game theory. How many of you learned game theory before?
I learned it in economics class.
Okay, economy class. Right, so I learned this theory in different class, also in economy class. So for this class, I think you need to understand what the meaning of Nash equilibrium and the tit-for-tat strategy. Also for here, the Nash equilibrium, because we adopt a dominant strategy, so we can achieve Nash equilibrium. Here, they are the same thing. And the first one, simultaneously move games. That means the competitors, or here, the example of the prisoner's dilemma, they don't know each other's movement. So they move simultaneously at the same time. So they can choose implicate or don't implicate by easily. So the Nash equilibrium here means a set of the movements in a game that first one simultaneously maximize each firm's payoff, which means the profit. Okay. The second one is give the choices of rivals and from which no player has an incentive to defect. So that means no one can be better or have higher payoff during the situation. Okay, so for the Nash equilibrium, they have to achieve these two factors. Okay, so for this dilemma, so which one is Nash equilibrium? Is this one, the upper left corner one. Why? Because let's see, if we are the prisoner one, okay, so assume the prisoner two want to choose don't, for example, if the prisoner two want to choose a don't, sorry, if the prisoner two want to choose do not implicate, so we will get the payoff for this one, the -1. Okay, so if we choose do not implicate, we will get -2. So that means -1 is better than -2. Okay. So if we want to choose do not implicate, the prisoner two want to choose implicate, we will get -1. And if they choose, sorry. Yes. If they choose do not implicate, we will get -1. And if they choose, sorry, let me repeat again. So if they want to choose do not implicate, we will get 2. And if prisoner 2 choose implicate, we will get -2. Okay, so the better one for us is -1 here. -1, -1, that's the payoff. Okay, so for infinitely repeated game, there is another one, a strategy for the game series called tit for tat strategy. That means you can repeat the game again and again. So you don't need to move simultaneously. Because like in the real situation, every company can move after every other company finish their for this time movement, right? So in reality, every company choose the tit for tat strategy. But ideally, sometimes we can talk about the Nash equilibrium. So which one is Nash equilibrium for this chart? Anybody? No. Yes, it's 2, 2. Is this one? I want to mention that, like at the first one, you can see the best payoff for the two sides. I mean, the prisoner one and prisoner two is 1-1. But because they don't want to trust each other, so that's why so family they have to choose this one. Okay, so because if we choose, like for example, if we are the prisoner one, we know we can have the 1-1. That's the best option for us. But if we choose a don't implicate our competitor, here is prisoner two, he might choose the two, the second one. Okay, so we will get -2. That's not very good for us. So on this situation or on the real world, the people uh, don't want to make her friends for the each competitors, and they compete fiercely. So the outcome lastly is not the best. Okay, so that's why it's -1, -1. So for here, it's the same thing. So you can see for the Nash equilibrium moves simultaneously, and they have to achieve the best payoff. You can see if because we are the delta, and if the American want to have a maintain the price, okay, if they want to maintain the price, so we have two options. The first one is maintain. 5 we got. So if we lower the price, we'll got 10. So lower is the best one if the American choose maintain the price. Okay, so if the American choose a lower, we choose the maintain, we will get -1. And if we choose lower, we have 2. Okay, so the dominant strategy for us is lower the price. So we need to choose 2 for this one because it's for both sides, not only one. For the American, it's the same strategy or the same process to decide which strategy to choose to pick. Okay. I'm not sure everybody understand the game theory here. Okay, if you don't have any question, let's move on to the next one. Okay, for the principle of the competitive strategy, it's quite easy to understand. The first one is know your strengths and weaknesses. Second one, bring strengths against weakness. So here, the weakness means the weakness of your competitor. Okay, not your weaknesses. The third one, protect and neutralize vulnerabilities. That means like you have some very weak step or process, you have to protect it from the attacking from the other side competitors anyway. Okay, the last one is develop strategies that cannot be easily imitated or copied. Okay, so we have learned in the VRIO, so we have to keep our resources and capabilities inimitable. Okay, the last one for the chapter 11 is competitive actions for different market environment, monopoly, oligopoly, perfect competition. So the chart can see the every details in very very good, and you can check out this this table when you have a review. So the difference between the oligopoly and the monopoly is in the oligopoly market, the numbers of the films is higher than the monopoly. So that means their consideration will be a little bit different. So monopoly company is the price maker, so they can decide the price. Anyway, the customer have to take the price. Okay, so the only thing they need to do is reinforce the monopoly. But for the oligopoly, there is still competition between each giant's company. So the thing they need to do is make moves carefully, because rivals will detect their moves and respond accordingly, tit for tat. Okay. The perfect competition, I think, is very easy for you guys, and you have learned from the economy class, right? Chapter 12, implementing strategy. For this chapter, we have two topics. The first one is alignment, the 7S model. The second one is strategic change. The three phases of change, 8 steps to successful change. Also, the content not in the textbook but appear in professor's slides, alignment for change. The first one, 7S model. The 7S constitute a system of two components. The first one is a hard triangle, the 3 dimensions, strategy, systems, structure, because they can be achieved in a very short time, because you can change a strategy in a very short time, whatever it will be successful or not, right? You can change a strategy immediately. Also the system. If you want buy some equipment, there will be a very short time, and change the structure of the company. The different department, you can lay off some laborers, right? And you can restructure your HR system, right? It can be achieved in a short time. But the soft square, it has to be achieved in a very long time, because it's very soft. Staffing skills, still shared values, something like the culture of the company, the people's thoughts, their ways to deal with workings. So that is very hard to achieve in a very short time. Okay. The 3 phases of change. The first one, unfreezing. The second one, change process and refreezing. The unfreezing means at the very beginning, you need to unfreeze the structure of your company and let everybody know that your company now need the change because the strategy now cannot fit the competition. Okay, the change process means now is under the process of the change. The rephrase, that means that everything now are going smoothly, so you need to rephrase to that means the change almost done. The 8 steps to successful change. You need to know the meanings behind each steps. The first one, generate a sense of urgency. That means you can see the necessity of the change. You know the necessity, and then you need the change. You need the necessity of the change, and then you let everybody know the company now under the urgency. So you need to change. The second one is build a guiding coalition. That means let the people in the organization support the change. So let the people trust you. The change makes sense. Okay. The third, create a vision. Quite easy to understand and communicate the vision. So you need to build a channel to let everybody to talk about the vision of the company now. Okay, the fifth one, empower individuals to act. Okay, so that means allow organization members to try new practice. So because when every new thing, new stuff coming out, the people don't want to try because they might get some fixed compensation or salary every day, so they don't want to move. So the important thing is let everybody in the company try new practice. Okay. The sixth one is garner short-term wins. That means that members say it works in short time. Because if every part of the new change will be very hard to achieve, the people will be lazy. They don't want to change. So just let everybody or the members know the thing can be changed very easily in a short time, and they will change in a short time, and they have the evidence the company can be better in a very long time. Okay, the seventh one is consolidate gains, move on for more change. That means you have to keep working on the change. Okay, don't stop. The last one is institutionalize the change. That means organizational elements of practice become so essential that its value is taken all for granted. That means when the change was achieved, that become the culture, that become one part of your company's culture. Okay. And you have already absorbed and grasped every part of the change. And now the company runs very smoothly. Okay, so any question about these 8 steps? No? Okay, good. So This graph also appeared in professor's slides because for this topic, we have the three phases, the unfreezing, change, and the refreezing. Also, we have 8 steps. So you can match each of them together. Okay, these 2 belong to the unfreezing. These 2 is change, and the last 2 are the refreezing. Okay, the left side is 8 steps. The right side is the 3 phases. The alignment for change, I think this didn't appear in the textbook, but it's very easy to understand. It also has 8 steps. Okay, so the first one, the state the change. You need to tell everybody you have to change. It's very similar to the 8 steps. Okay, the second one is listen to feedback from your members. And third one, acknowledge the feedback. The fourth one, use emotional intelligence to move your employees or members. The fifth one is explain why. So why we want to make the change and how we want to achieve it. Okay, the sixth one is define clear roles for each person. The seventh one is provide training. Provide a training system to the employees, and is the last one, the reward acceptance. Okay, so create a new reward system for everyone to let them move. Okay. Okay, I think we almost done, and the 3 things need to mention. The first one, that all assignments, including discussions, due by June 2nd, and the final group project due by June 5th, and the final test on Zoom is on the Thursday class. Okay. Any questions so far? Sorry, I think the final test is on Tuesday class because the June 2nd is Tuesday, right? Because I checked this calendar. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Okay, so if you don't have any question, please feel free to leave, and I will stay here. I'm not sure. Because we still have 1 class left, right? 2 class left. Yeah, we have 2 class left, 2 lectures from professors left. So that means we must still have the discussion. Yes, I think we don't have the class. Let me check the syllabus real quick. Sorry, any question?
So I was so about to ask, I forgot to ask professor about it, but then like will he be posting example paper about the project, like the group project?
You mean the group project? Can you repeat again?
Will he be posting like an example of the group project, like format and stuff like that?
Did he mention last time for on Thursday class? Tina?
Yes.
He mentioned, right?
So he will be posting one?
No. I mean, like, did he mention he will post any example of the format of the project on Thursday class?
I don't think so, but I'm just asking you if you know.
I think he will not post it. Let me ask him. Okay. Why? So I remember he have already posted the format of the project on syllabus, right?
Like an example paper, you know what I mean?
You mean the example of the format or what?
Like an example paper of probably uh like like a group uh who have been submitted the like from before or something, you know, who have done this before, and then how he want to
You mean
like
the peer evaluation, right?
no I mean like
Oh, you
paper,
mean the previous example from the previous class, not this semester, right? Not
yeah,
called. Okay.
like just to use as a reference of how he
Okay.
wants to be
Okay.
done.
Let me ask him, but I'm not sure if he will give that kind of example because if he want to provide that kind of example paper, he will do it at the very beginning, right? Because now it's almost done, and I'm not sure. Let me ask him. Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem. So I just check out the syllabus. The final exam is on June 4th, but from the professor's slide for this week, it is June 4th. I'm not sure. So let me ask him. I think he will mention next class because it's quite important, right? The June 4th is a Thursday, and June 2nd is it's a Tuesday class. Uh, yeah, you can see here is a professor's slide, June 2nd. On the syllabus, where is the syllabus? Yeah, on the syllabus is June 4th. Okay, so well, we still have 55 persons here. So if you have any question, you can ask me, and you can leave. If please feel free to leave. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so if you don't have any question, I will end the meeting.